Hello and welcome back to another episode of Below the Belt. My name is Clifton and these are my co-hosts, Lanier and Michael. And this is the show for and by wrestling fans. Today we're going to talk about backstage politics. So, you guys want to start? Lanier?
Backstage politics. I guess this came about as a discussion that we were having around the influence of people like Triple H, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, and how that can have an effect on others wrestlers' career. We've talked about it before, how Mr. Kennedy's been buried since he's been on Raw. A lot of that is the influence of Triple H. We believe, because he thinks that, you know, he doesn't want somebody to be more popular than he is, so he takes steps to basically put them under. And it's worked with people like Mr. Kennedy. So we thought we'd just have a little roundtable discussion about what we think about backstage politics.
I think basically my definition of backstage politics within WWE is actually the more influential superstar, either directly linked to the McMahon family or directly linked to the creative team, actually decides on the fate of other superstars in the way how they're treated in matches and how they're treated in storylines. Yeah. And I agree with my co-host Nia for the very rare few times that actually Triple H does play a huge role because he's Vince McMahon's son-in-law. And over the years he has been carrying and lobbying WWE to actually give him the biggest torch. You know, he could not stand to see a younger star surpass him. Yeah. Now, one example is that you see John Cena was the only guy, and is currently, hopefully, the only guy that managed to squeeze through Triple H's influences because he's selling more merchandise. And kids, like you guys watching at home, I mean some of you, like him. You know, kids like him. But I think this year there'll be a lot of politics going around. I mean, we have heard from Kurt Angle, who's now in TNA. He hates the politics in WWE. So I think the politics does play a huge role in WWE.
Oh, look at Booker T. You know, he had a big run as King Booker in SmackDown. Yeah. He went to Raw. Triple H was gone for a while. He was injured. So by rights, when he returned, he should not have been able to beat King Booker, right? But he returned, and after that, King Booker was buried, and not long afterwards, he left.
Yeah.
I guess he.
So that's one example.
I guess Triple H lobbied for King Booker to be defeated by him.
Apparently, they haven't liked each other. I'm not sure how much of it
I don't think
is true.
they've liked each other for a while.
I think in the past as well, I mean, backstage influence can really affect a lot of people. Like rumors have it that CM Punk is not well liked backstage. So that may actually translate to why he's not winning the ECW title anytime soon.
And it's also, I guess he's lucky that he's not on Raw or even SmackDown at this stage. He's on ECW, so he doesn't have to play the same types of politics. You know, he doesn't have to lobby to try and get himself on TV on Raw, which isn't going to happen because Triple H will just say nah. Or on SmackDown where Undertaker can just go no. So he's on ECW. There isn't as much politics there, I guess. But you can even see it in simple little things like suspensions for the drug offences. You cannot tell me that there are people in that organisation like Triple H are not using steroids, and yet they never seem to get suspended. It always seems to be the mid-carders.
Very controversial.
Once in a while an upper mid-carder will get publicly suspended. But those, I mean, look how big Batista is, Triple H is, even Shawn Michaels has got a little bit of definition there. They've not been suspended once under this new policy.
Batista has. He's been busted.
No, he's been busted. He didn't get suspended.
Oh.
But I think sometimes...
Case in point.
Sometimes it's arguable because, like, someone like Batista, he is carrying the SmackDown brand along with a few greats like Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, and currently Edge. So I think they couldn't afford to suspend him. None of them have been suspended. Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
But like Jeff Hardy's case, maybe he's just blindly dumb. You know, he doesn't know how to play backstage politics. He doesn't know how to kiss Mr. McMahon's ass realistically. So that's why he got suspended. You know, I think this is all backstage politics. I'm a Jericho-holic, and I feel that when Jericho returned, I think he was going to get a huge and a longer push rather than his short tenure with Randy Orton. But I guess Triple H just couldn't stand it because, you know, Jericho has the mic skills, he has the charisma. So Triple H may be lobbying that, you know, Jericho has a small size.
Yeah.
And he looks more like a cruiserweight sometimes rather than a heavyweight.
I'm not too sure about that because I felt that Jericho needs someone else who's strong on the mic to go against. And I don't think Randy Orton was quite up to his same level, like with The Rock.
MVP, if you would say, right?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that case is politics.
I think it is. No, I definitely think it is. When Booker T left and he did an interview, he talked about how at SmackDown he had really enjoyed himself and he was getting the respect he was
Who was the head of SmackDown?
The head writer? Or?
Yeah, the head writer.
I think it was still Steph, wasn't it?
Steph was the...
the talent person was Steph.
And I thought it was Michael Hayes or something.
Yeah, he's now been... But then he got a really good run and then he came to Raw and he felt he got a Raw deal. And a lot of the wrestlers now feel that, on SmackDown they get their own reign, they get a better quality of match. And to try and go over to Raw where you're just going to get pushed down by all the others that have gone before you and are not going to let you through, that's not the way wrestling should be.
No, just a controversial...
They need to start to develop the young wrestlers, not put them down.
Just a controversial statement to all you fans out there. When Chris Benoit was transferred to ECW, he had such a prominent run in both Raw and SmackDown. When he was pushed to ECW, do you believe this is a result of politics? And if yes, who is responsible?
I don't think it was a result of politics. I think it was them identifying someone who they wanted to develop their wrestlers in ECW. They didn't have a name.
In terms of mentoring.
In terms of mentoring the ECW wrestlers, and I think that's why Benoit was put on there. Notice how Triple H wasn't going to do it, or Shawn Michaels wasn't going to do it.
No, they don't work Tuesdays.
They don't work Tuesdays.
but you see, basically...
As Paul Heyman said famously on One Night Stand.
Based on the circulation of rumors out there on the internet, Chris Benoit was pushed or lobbied to go to ECW as a mentor by Triple H, thinking
because he didn't want to do it.
So, Backstage Politics.
Having said that, though, I don't think he could. I don't think he's got it in him to be generous enough to help the younger wrestlers. From what I've seen, I haven't seen him put over many wrestlers. John Cena is the exception.
Do you think Backstage Politics is actually healthy for the business of WWE?
Of course.
Do you think they make good decisions?
It's always going to be there, though. When you've got a business centered around egos, it's just going to be
with
there.
Big stars.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
With the son-in-law of the chairman of the board as one of your major stars, you're always going to have...
Triple H is smart. You all should be like him.
You're always going to have that ladder you have to climb up, and you're always going to have to kiss his ass.
Improve yourself. Yeah, it'll be never-ending. So, you guys finished? Any closing comments?
I'm not saying that politics are bad within WWE, but I think that WWE should listen to the fans, number one, and number two, listen to the politics sometimes. But we fans matter most because we pay the wrestlers' paychecks.
Yeah, and John Cena is the case in point that shows you that politics can be overcome if the power of the fan base is strong enough to say, we don't care what Triple H thinks, we don't care what Shawn Michaels thinks, and we don't care what Vince McMahon thinks. This is the person we want to see as champion. And with overwhelming response, that will work.
Say no to Triple H.
On that note, we're going to end it there. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to leave a comment or you have any suggestions, please leave one in the box below. You know the deal. Subscribe if you like what you're seeing. And I think we're just going to end it there. So
we would like to hear from Triple H fans out there.
Yes.
No to Triple H. No to Triple H.
And if you found some things we've said controversial, please make a comment. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.